Why is the media regarded as the fourth realm of the state? And why are you seated watching the television right now? The answer is clear. Information is knowledge, and knowledge is power. It has become the thin line between life and death. This is NAPTIP on the Move, and I am Emmanuel Okeke, glad to have you join us. The Public Enlightenment Department of NAPTIP has the duty to keep the general public informed on the issues of human trafficking, domestic violence, and child abuse. In the discharge of its duties, it focuses on preventing new cases and also to deter existing and intending offenders. On this episode, we will explore current trends that are of concern to the agency. Don't go away.
Charged with the responsibility of producing and disseminating information communication materials, the Public Enlightenment Department of NAPTIP is always abreast of happenings and new trends relating to the agency's mandate.
The trends we've noticed that it's not a gradual spread now. It's an annoying seepage, so to say, of trafficking into areas that nobody ever thought of. The statistics that NAPTIP has shows that states that were ab initio, not part of what we call very endemic state, have become endemic. And it's shocking to say the least that states like Kogi State, Anambra, Imo, Abia. Initially, the epicenter was the Edo, and you have Edo, you have Delta, you have depending on the dimension. The dimensions, I mean internal and external. But now, the evacuation that we did, that federal government did, shows that every state is endemic, and that is scandalous. That is not acceptable. And this has triggered a response from NAPTIP. The agency, what the DG has done, DG is now doing letters to all the state governors to, one, accept the fact that this is a clear and present danger. One child is enough. We are not going to wait until the number increases 30 before we begin to do something.
Labor migration is another trend that the agency is determined to sanitize.
The growing incidence of labor migration to Middle East. And there are lots of fraudsters, there are a lot of scammers who arrange these things to scam Nigerians and to defraud them of their meager resources, all in the bid of finding them jobs in Dubai, in Bahrain, in Qatar, and all these areas in Saudi Arabia. Aside from the other existing ones like trafficking of children to the Holy Land for begging. Okay, so these are the things we've noticed, which the agency also, as in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Labor and then the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, is addressing. We are trying to work out a pact. We are trying to work out a memorandum of understanding, because the tendency is not to stop Nigerians from seeking greener pastures, but the tendency is not to allow Nigerians to walk into a trap where they are abused, where they are molested, or where they eventually will lose their lives.
Widespread adoption of the Violence Against Persons Act of 2015 is encouraged to curb rising incidents of child abuse and domestic violence.
We're thankful to states that adopted the Violence Against Persons Act, states like Lagos and Anambra, and we say kudos to what the governors have done, because these are violence against persons. And we ask all the states, I'm begging all the state governors who have not done that to please adopt the Violence Against Persons Act. As far as Violence Against Persons Act is concerned, the same attention that is given to TPA Act is the same attention and the same commitment and the same push that we're giving both at the same time, because at the end of the day, these are issues that border on human rights of persons. So what we're saying is that, please, not anymore. Spousal battery is not allowed anymore. Those who, at the slightest provocation, smash properties belonging to their partners or whatever, that is not allowed anymore. Those who deny their spouses whatever, throw them out, and they deny them sustenance or upkeep, you think that's allowed? The law frowns against it. And you will get merited justice when you flout these laws. Ignorance is not an excuse. It might pain you to, I don't know what kind of indigestion it will give you to notice that the greatest abusers of children in Abuja, in FCT, where this law is being enforced right now, is women. Women are the greatest abusers of children. Our statistics, I actually challenge every woman to come to NAPTIP so that you will see it's not a gender thing. And I don't know the reason.
The prevalence of defilement, rape, and incest, coupled with the silence of mothers who are expected to condemn such acts, is of grave concern to the agency.
It's so heartbreaking that fathers are abusing their daughters, and there's an increase. It breaks my heart that even mothers under their watch allow these things happen, or pretend that these things are not happening, or are not a little bit careful enough to watch these things and make sure it doesn't happen. Even when they do, there's a wicked tendency by them to make sure it's swept under the carpet. Incest is not allowed by any way, any standard, any culture. But it's on increase. And you see them making excuses that I didn't know what came over me. The only thing that will come over you is the hands of the law will catch you, you will be put away.
A story of a father molesting his own daughter in the Buari Area Council of Abuja is one of the current cases being handled by the agency.
We receive all sorts of reports here, but there are some that you receive, begin to ask yourself, where is this coming from? There was a case that we got, but it was first of all initially reported to the police. A case of a man that was abusing in Buari, that was abusing the daughter. And what happened? When the report was made by a good Nigerian, the woman went to the police to ask that there was no such thing, that he knows the daughter, that thing couldn't happen. Okay? So, but fortunately, the person who did the report was a class teacher, who the girl went and narrated her experience for the 4 years the father has been abusing her. And the woman wanted the case because of the husband. So at the end of the day, when we spoke to her, he said, how can that happen? How do you want that to be said about my husband? And that my husband is a pastor. The man is a pastor. That is why the girl should have that rubbish done to her. It shows you the totality of what our children go through every day, even in their own homes. It's our responsibility to shield them from this. If the point of attack is now in the home, then we're losing it as a people, as a culture, as a society. NAPTIP is empowered to protect any child, and it behoves you, as anybody listening to me and watching me, to call NAPTIP. Our hotlines are going to be on the screen. So call NAPTIP. When that child does not belong to you, but you owe it as a responsibility to save that child because of whichever faith you share. Save that child from that environment.
The agency has come up with new innovations to curb such instances.
What we're doing right now is that we're developing IC materials. By that I mean information communication materials. And the British High Commission, the British government is supporting NAPTIP by production of jingles. We are building the capacity of teachers so that let them be friends with the students. Where they spend an average of like about 8 hours, are friends with the children, and it's happening because we receive reports from schools, calling us, come, we saw this child, he has body marks, he has all this, and we'll go and take the child. We are using the churches. We are speaking to the Catholic Church, the Anglican Church, these critical nuggets of information because they need it. Let them know that, one, it is not, I don't want to use the word business, but Nigeria is changing, the laws are there, and you'll be caught and you'll be brought to justice for your crime, even for your crime against your own child.
The Director, Public Enlightenment Department of NAPTIP, Arinze Orakwe, has a word of advice to parents and guardians.
As a parent, you must watch your child. We're asking mothers, look at what your children do. Who are their friends? Please look, because we're losing our children. We are breeding a set of people who do not understand there are limits and there are thresholds not to cross. That is what we expect of parents. How can we be so busy enough that we are not even friends with our children, that they can't even tell you what is happening to them? That's an increase. It's simmering and it's gradually seeping into our society like it's becoming a culture.
NAPTIP is poised to eradicate human trafficking and all forms of violence against persons. Do your part. Report suspected cases to NAPTIP today.
Every day, NAPTIP receives reports on all forms of violence against persons, diverse cases of domestic violence, rape, incest, physical abuse, especially child abuse. This has got to stop. NAPTIP is ever ready to ensure justice for victims, but you have to speak up. NAPTIP is working tirelessly to ensure that victims are compensated and offenders severely punished. But we need a lot of support. The VAP Act can be most effective when each state government takes the required steps to domesticate the act. The victims shun the culture of silence and neighbors step in to act. We all have a role to play in the effective implementation of the VAP Act. This is a call to all state governors to waste no further time in securing the life and well-being of their indigents. NAPTIP is working with different stakeholders, including the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Program of the British Council. But we need more support to stop violence against persons in Nigeria.
Report all cases of violence against persons to these hotlines: 0703 0000 203, 080 2255 627847. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking and violence-free nation.
NAPTIP Events is next. Stay with us.
In a bid to strengthen collaboration with the judiciary, the Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julie Okadonle, and her team paid a courtesy visit to the Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory, Justice Ishak Bello, at the Federal High Court, Maitama, Abuja. Commending the efforts of the Federal Capital Judiciary in securing convictions, the Director General of NAPTIP stated the purpose of their visit.
Under the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition, Enforcement and Administration Act of 2015, the penalties for offences ranges from 5 to 7 years, and there's no option of a fine. But my lord, sometimes we get convictions of less than 2 years with option of the fine. Section 16, subsection 1 of the Act specifically provides that any person who procures or recruits any person under the age of 18 years to be subjected to prostitution or other forms of sexual exploitation with himself, any person or persons, either in Nigeria or anywhere else, commits an offence and is liable on conviction to imprisonment for a term of not less than 7 years and a fine of not less than 1 million naira. My lord, NAPTIP is also mandated under Section 44 of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2015 to implement the provisions of the Act. Thus, we also investigate, arrest, and prosecute offenders under this law. The offences ranges from rape, incest, causing grievous harm, harmful cultural practices like female genital mutilation, tribal marks, violence against persons, amongst others. And the cooperation of the FCT High Court with NAPTIP in the prosecution of offenders under the two acts cannot be overemphasized.
She also highlighted areas of collaboration with the judiciary in handling cases of human trafficking and violence against persons.
My prayers, my Lord, to designate more judges to handle cases of human trafficking and violence against persons filed by NAPTIP in the FCT High Courts. Number 2, sir, to appeal to the judges that preside over some of these cases on the sensitivity and peculiar nature of the cases. We also solicit for the hearing of our cases for remand orders. And we also pray that a magistrate and a high court judge be designated to hear such remand order applications so it can be done expeditiously.
In response, the Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory pledged the judiciary support in the fight against human trafficking and violence against persons.
I can assure you that my dream is in tandem with your own prayers and aspirations. And right away, I can tell you that all the newly appointed judges, I have already designated them judges that will be handling these particular cases. I'm going to call them for a short meeting. I will highlight these problems which you have brought to limelight so that they know exactly what is required in terms of sentencing and the need to show commitment. I can assure you my cooperation and the cooperation of the judges, and we'll stop at nothing to ensure doing the proper thing towards realization of the mandate of your organization.
Effective collaboration with the judiciary will aid the agency in securing more convictions and justice for victims of human trafficking and violence against persons. Recognizing the fact that every platform is an opportunity to sensitize the public on the activities of the agency, the Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julie Okad-Donley, and her team were at the just concluded 21st IBB Ladies Golf Open Championship, a 3-day event which drew participants from some states of the country and other African nations. The Director General of NAPTIP shed more light on NAPTIP partnership with the IBB Ladies Golf Club.
A lot of girls and boys are trafficked through sports. You know, they promise them false academies all over the world, and we're trying to tell them that you can be a sportsman here in Nigeria, and if you have to go out, we in Nigeria can help you to, can direct you to the right place or the right people. And so we partnered with the IBB Golf Club to create awareness.
The Director, Public Enlightenment, Arinze Orakwe, sensitized everyone present as he took them through the realities of human trafficking and violence against persons, highlighting the efforts of NAPTIP in this regard.
I want to thank you for this opportunity. The crime of trafficking is the worst thing that's happening to Nigeria. Now ritual is on the increase. I know many of us have not asked ourselves, where are the kidneys that are sold online? Where are they coming from? These kidneys are harvested from Nigerians and some other persons, and we go to buy. Please watch what your children do. Many children are recruited online. When we buy smartphones for our children, have you tried to ask yourself, what do they do with the smartphones? What sites do they visit? Human trafficking is a clear and present danger. It is wasting our best and our brightest. I'm sure many of you do not know that 60% of the prostitutes in Italy and Turin are Nigerian girls. Many of Nigerian girls and Nigerian citizens have been wasted trying to cross the Mediterranean. The other trend is for moving Nigerians for the so-called greener pastures in Saudi Arabia and Oman. NAPTIP has secured 371 convictions of criminals for their crimes against Nigeria and against Nigerian children. We're asking you to join forces and to raise hands with NAPTIP against traffickers. We are poised, since under the leadership of Dame Julie Okad-Donley, to make sure that criminals do not go unpunished.
Professor May Ifeoma Nwoye, a member of the club, commended NAPTIP for the enlightenment and support.
We are very grateful to NAPTIP because they did a lot and created a lot of awareness about their program. There are a lot of things we didn't know before that we heard from them.
An award of partnership in the 21st IBB Ladies Golf Open Championship was given to NAPTIP which was received by the Director General, Dame Julie Okad-Donley. Public enlightenment is NAPTIP's major preventive strategy in tackling the menace of human trafficking and violence against persons. A Nigerian delegation, including members of the Federal House of Representatives and the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, recently carried out a fact-finding mission to Mali to study and ascertain firsthand the issues concerning trafficking of Nigerian citizens in the sub-region. The fact-finding mission, which was sponsored by the International Organization for Migration at the instance of the Director General of NAPTIP, had in attendance the Federal House of Representatives Committee Chairman on Human Rights, Alhaji Sadiq Ibrahim, the head of Consular Service, Nigerian High Commission in Mali, Abimbola Wonosiko, and the NAPTIP Director, Research, Planning and Development, Godwin Morcar. Forced prostitution, domestic servitude, slavery and migrant smuggling were among the major issues discussed at the meeting. The fact-finding mission was successful as the girls in the custody of the Nigerian High Commission in Mali expressed their willingness to return home. Plans for their repatriation is ongoing. NAPTIP On the Move is co-sponsored by the Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption Programme, ROLAC, funded by the European Union and implemented by the British Council.
Coming up is a victim's first-hand account. Keep watching.
I'm 16 years old. I'm from Ogun State of Abeokuta. And what brought me here is that I'm in my village. My mother's sister came to my village that she's going to take me from Abuja here. And because there's no money to continue my secondary school. And she brought me here. The person that I'm going to work for is selling this food, beer. They told me that I'm going to be helping the woman. And one day, her husband called me that she will come and fetch water because every day I used to fetch water always. The man there inside room, and immediately that he put the water, he hold my hand and he closed the door. And he put me for his lap and started put hand for my private part. And he said I should not tell anybody that if I tell anybody that he will kill me or he will not pay my salary and he will pursue me from my wife's house. Every day, the midnight he will come like 1 o'clock. He will come and talk to me. I will not answer him and be dragging me. I will say no. I told my auntie. I first of all told the woman. The woman said when his husband come back that he will tell him. As the man tell him, the man come back and the woman tell him what happened. And the man is lying. And they now call me and that man together. Me, I said my own. I said, what happened? I said it to the man. The man said, I lied and I'm lying. And I said, okay, I'm lying. I'm going to tell my auntie. I told my auntie, and my auntie, immediately I told my auntie, we went to hospital first. And they tell me that the man will give me pregnant. And I want my pass and hear it. The woman now wait. Hear everything that we are talking, and the woman called us that we should come to her house. As we go to that woman's house, the woman called her neighbor, and the man is barrister, is lawyer. And we called the woman, we explained to her everything that happened. We explained to her, and the woman said that tomorrow that we are coming to NAPTIP, that I have not even heard NAPTIP before. And I came to NAPTIP and report what happened. I'm grateful to NAPTIP and thank God. I thank NAPTIP for what they have done.
For more enquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking and violence against persons, call NAPTIP hotlines on 0703 0000 203 or 0800 2255 627847. Or email info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms @NAPTIP Nigeria and watch our videos on YouTube.
I hope you've been enlightened. Dante Alighieri, in his famous poem, The Divine Comedy, stated, and I quote, "The hottest part of hell is reserved for those who in time of moral crisis preserve their neutrality." End of quote. So, shun the culture of silence and report cases of human trafficking, domestic violence and child abuse to NAPTIP. You may be saving a life and your soul from eternal damnation. Thank you for watching and do join us again next week. I am Emmanuel Okeke. Goodbye.